Hey mamas, you're listening to the Balanced Working Mama podcast, the only podcast teaching you how to balance your work, motherhood, and wellness. I am Dr. Amber Thornton, clinical psychologist and mama wellness consultant. Each week we dive into tips and strategies and much more so that you too can become a balanced working mama. Let's dive in. Hey mamas, we are here for another season of the Balanced Working Mama podcast. This season is really, really special for so many reasons. So let me just orient you all a little bit to what I am doing. Season 3 is going to be interesting. First of all, I want to just kind of give ourselves a pat on the back. We've made it. We have successfully completed one season. Second season was dope. I know that season 3 is going to be even better. So, shout out to all the mamas who have listened from the beginning. I appreciate you all and your support so much. Shout out to all the new mamas who are listening for the very first time. I hope that this podcast helps you to really find the balance, learn how to redefine the balance, achieve the balance and wellness that you've really been needing. And so that is absolutely our mission at Balanced Working Mama. And I know that's what we are able to do. So, let's do a check in because, yes, we're in a new season, but we're not going to completely get rid of our check in. So, let's check in a little bit. How am I doing? So, first of all, I am 25 weeks pregnant. So, funny thing, I announced the pregnancy during season 2 of the podcast. And here we are. We're still trucking along. Me and baby girl are doing really, really well. So, one thing that I have definitely heard about your second pregnancy or when you have multiple pregnancies is that after the first time, one, each pregnancy is a little bit different, but then also I am 6 months, but I feel like I'm about 8. So that is definitely a new experience for me. It's very interesting. I compare some of my pictures and I feel like what I look like now is how I looked at 9 months. And that's just, it's funny to me. So either way, she's doing really well. The pregnancy so far is very uneventful. Nothing major has happened, which I'm really grateful for. Somewhat similar to my first pregnancy with C3. There were not a lot of issues at all. The real well, one difference is that she's definitely bigger than what my son was. I remember when when I was pregnant with him and we would go for the sonograms and everything, they were always like, yep, he's right around 50%. And I was like, perfect. And he ended up being about 6 pounds, 14 ounces at birth. But baby girl is like 85th percentile. So I don't know. I don't know how big she's going to be. I don't know what that means for me in this birth, but um we're just going to go with it. We're going to go with it because we don't have a choice at this point. But either way, we're doing great. I'm really excited to see how my son does as being a big brother. He is 19 months right now. And so he is definitely stepping into that toddler phase, which is a whole other episode, y'all. We're going to talk about toddlers and all that stuff later in the season. But there have definitely been some challenging moments, but there's also so much that I'm learning. I'm reading a new book right now. It's called Toddlers. No, I'm sorry. It's called Happiest Toddlers on the Block. And that is really helping me learn how to manage and handle when he's upset, when there are tantrums, just how to cool and calm him down, but also keep calm myself. And it's been really, really helpful. So, with all the new stuff that I'm learning and seeing him grow, I just cannot wait to see how he's going to be with his little sister. Like, I imagine that he's going to be so caring, so loving, so giving. But I'm sure we're going to have our moments too. And that's okay. So I will definitely keep y'all posted with how that goes. But just know that we are excited. Let's see. Some other stuff that's going on here is that the Empower Wellness program starts this week. So, for those of you who have listened to this podcast for a while, you already know what the Empower Wellness Program is. Empower Wellness Program is our 6-week wellness program for working mothers to truly take the time to invest in themselves, have community with other women, but really to transform their wellness in ways they never had before. I actually was just on Instagram the other day reflecting on how the very first mamas that participated in an Empower Wellness program in July are like out here killing it. Like, they're starting podcasts, they're building brands for businesses, they are like really diving into like new routines and consistent workouts. Like, the one thing I realized is that with the Empower Wellness Program, there are immediate benefits that you feel within the 6 weeks, but then there's also these seeds that we plant. And then months later, you start to see those little sprouts come up. And that's what I'm noticing. And that is such a gift because I knew the Empower Wellness Program was dope, but I'm now seeing how it's just flourishing even more with the mamas who are months out. So that is just so dope. I've really enjoyed watching that. And yeah, I'm amazed. My mind is blown. So the January mamas start today. We have two groups, but funny thing, both of the groups are going to be on Sundays. So Sundays are going to be my Empower Wellness Program days for the next 6 weeks, and I'm excited about it. Another cool thing that I've been doing is Clubhouse. So, for those of you who do not know what Clubhouse is, I'm probably not going to explain it well, but definitely Google it so you can learn. But basically, Clubhouse is a new social media app, and I love it because it is all audio. And so nobody can see you. You don't have to look any type of way. You just show up and have conversations. And Clubhouse has been a nice little addition for Balanced Working Mama. And so this year, I'm definitely going to be playing around with Clubhouse a little bit more. Actually, right now, as I'm recording, I'm also on Clubhouse, having a few mamas there listen in live. And so we're just going to experiment a little bit. For anybody listening to the podcast, if you are on Clubhouse, definitely follow me because my plan is for us to have some really dope discussions this year on Clubhouse. Lastly, before we close out our check-in and get into the episode for today, I am so excited, y'all. This is the thing I've been waiting for a really long time. And like, again, if y'all follow me on Instagram, you already know I've been talking about this, and I thought I was going to have to wait for the pandemic to be over, but it hit me that we have to live in the moment. And sometimes moments are not ideal, but that doesn't mean that you have to completely stop everything. And so I have decided to move forward with the Balanced Working Mama Retreat. So, yes, we will have a retreat in 2021. We will. And the dates are March 5th, 6th, and 7th. So please mark your calendars. You're going to hear a lot more about the retreat in the episode today, but then also as the season progresses. But I want you to know right now, the retreat will happen March 5th, 6th, and 7th of 2021. It will be a virtual retreat because we're trying to stay safe out here. But I know this retreat is going to be powerful. It's going to be dynamic. There's going to be very rich discussions. There's going to be speakers. There's going to be opportunities to engage with other mamas. We're going to have some of our Empower Wellness mamas come join us and lead us in some discussion. So there's just so much goodness that's coming. And so, for those of you who are interested, I really want you to take this time as a moment to yourself. No, we cannot all commune together right now, but guess what? You can let your family know, hey, don't bother me this weekend. You can take that time out, carve out in your schedule, block it out on your work calendar, whatever you need to do to make sure that you're present, you're rested, you're relaxed, and you can fully tune in is what you need to do. So if you want to learn more, head to www.balancedworkingmama.com. You can read all about the retreat, learn about registration. Registration will close February 12th, but there is a special advantage to registering in January, and you can read about that on the website. All right, mamas, that is it for our check-in. Now let's dive into the episode. Hey, mamas, this is the moment we have all been waiting for. the Balanced Working Mama Retreat is happening this year, March 5th, 6th, and 7th. This year, our theme will be achieving the balance and wellness in your motherhood, and I know you'll absolutely do that. So please, please join us again March 5th, 6th, and 7th for our very first virtual retreat for discussions, community, empowerment, engagement, rest, relax, feel rejuvenated, and be sure that you're going to get the balance and wellness that you've been needing this year in 2021. Register now, or you can register until February 12th, but there is a special advantage to registering in January, and I cannot wait to see y'all there. Register at www.balancedworkingmama.com. All right, mama. So we are back. And again, I always get really excited about the first season, or I'm sorry, the first episode of a new season. It's like a time where we can really just remind ourselves what we're here for. And that's exactly what I want to do today. And so with that, I want to ground us in the idea that balance in motherhood is absolutely possible. Yes, there are a few things that we need to do to make sure that that happens, but balance in motherhood is completely possible. So, um, let me just say that in my playing around on Clubhouse in the last few months, or I'm sorry, weeks. It feels like it's been months, but it has not been that long. In the last few weeks, what I have learned is that there are so many women with so many ideas. There are so many mothers with so many experiences. And that's one thing that I truly love about working with mothers is that we all have different experiences that we can bring. We all have something that we can offer, and we all have our own perspectives on things. And what that also means is that we might have perspectives that are different from one another. And so, what I have found or what I have heard is that there are many women and many mothers who completely believe that balance in motherhood is a myth. And that scares me. I actually was in a clubhouse room a few weeks ago where there were mothers, very successful women and mothers, talking about how balance is not possible. And you really have to accept that you're going to be failing at something and be okay with it. And I completely reject that. And what I reject about that is that I don't want us to feel like we're always going to be failing at something. That is not an okay mindset to have. And maybe what we need to do is redefine what we think success or failure truly is. And that is what I'm advocating for. We'll get into that a little bit, but I don't want us to completely throw out the idea of balance just because we haven't found it yet. Or I don't want us to completely let go of the idea of balance just because we're having trouble with it right now. That doesn't mean that balance is impossible. Maybe what it means is that we need a little bit of help. We need a little bit of support. We need new ways to redefine it for ourselves. And that's what we do at Balanced Working Mama. We help women and mothers to better balance work, motherhood, wellness. We redefine balance for you. We give you a new framework to think about it. And then you realize that all the things that you thought were impossible or you couldn't do are actually attainable. So, this is concerning for me. The idea that there is no balance in motherhood is scary because what happens is that we often become mothers, and then if we have this idea that there's no balance, what happens is we start to live with the assumption that we actually do have to sacrifice some parts of ourselves, or sacrifice parts of our well-being in order to maintain our families. And I've seen it so many times. And again, for those of you who have listened to the podcast for a while, you know that my story was that I did not want to be a mom because it was scary. It looked scary from what I had seen. It was very intense for me to watch my mother, my grandmothers, my aunts, women in my families be mothers because what I saw was a lot of self sacrifice. I saw a lot of unhealthy habits, a lot of unhealthy behaviors in terms of not having enough boundaries, not taking the time to take care of you, not asking the people around you for support, literally doing every single thing. And the hard part is that they were like super women. And so sometimes I feel conflicted talking about it because I am humbled and grateful for everything that they have done for me, because that's why I'm here today. That is why I'm here with the degrees and the podcast and the stuff, like, because of all the self sacrifice. And I wish that they would have had moments where they could relax. I wish they would have had moments where they could just do what they wanted to do to make them happy. I wish that they could have had more moments to really get the help that they needed. And so I feel like part of my mission and role today is to undo that cycle so that my daughter, now I can actually say my daughter, when she's here, she will see, hey, it's important to take time for yourself because I see mommy do it every day. It's important to take care of yourself because I see mommy doing her workouts. It's important to have boundaries because mommy lets me know that I have boundaries and that she has boundaries too. These are the lessons that I want us to be able to pass on to our children, but then also the lessons that I want us to ground ourselves in motherhood. So, what happens when you walk into motherhood and you assume or you believe that there is no balance and that you're going to be failing at something at all times? Well, you make decisions based on that belief. So I've seen, maybe there is a mama who decided, hey, you know what? I can't go back to school like I wanted because I have kids now. Or maybe you've decided, well, before I had kids, I was working out every day, but I can't do that anymore. Or maybe you're like, I really want to go for that promotion, but my kids. Or I really wish I would have started that business, but now I'm a mom. Or I really want to start this podcast, but my kids. You see what I'm saying? There's always something that we are going to put on the back burner if we go into motherhood thinking that it's about self sacrifice and there's no balance. And so that's what I don't want. I don't want another mom to put her beliefs, I don't want another mom to put her passions, her drives, her ambitions, her wellness, herself on the back burner just because we believe it's not possible. It actually is possible. Can y'all tell I get passionate about this? I don't want that anymore. I don't want that for us. I don't want that for our children. I don't want that for our daughters. I believe that it is possible for us to undo this. We can undo this. And so I want to give you all 3 tips for how I believe you can really and truly achieve the balance and wellness that you want in your motherhood during 2021, because we are in a new year. We know that 2020 was a lot. It was hectic, but some of you might be thinking, hey, it's time for me to have a new start. Hey, I want to do things differently. How do I do it? And so I'm going to give you 3 tips for today, and I want you to take this and truly run with it so that you actually can achieve the balance in motherhood that you have been needing and wanting for a very, very long time. So, tip number 1: in order to achieve balance in motherhood this year, you have to redefine what balance means. So, what I mean by that is, in some of my recent discussions with mothers, what I've learned is that many of us assume that balance in motherhood means having an equal part in everything. So, for instance, the image of like a balance or a scale comes up, and then it's like, okay, it's equal, it's 50-50 on both sides. That's what we assume balance in motherhood means because that's what we've been taught that it means. And so many mothers believe that it means showing up 100% with your kids, 100% with your partner or your spouse, 100% at work, 100% cleaning your home. And if you are doing any less than that in any of the areas, then you're not balanced. And so I understand why mothers have that belief or have that meaning when they think about balance. But what I am telling you today is that you have to redefine what balance means in motherhood in order for you to have the balance that we are talking about. So, in season 1 of this podcast, we go through all of the core values of balanced working mama. And that's where we started because that was the groundwork. You have to know how we're thinking about balance in order to really live this out and have the experience that you want in motherhood. But today I'm going to do a crash course, a crash course. If you want to hear even more extensively, go back to season 1. Every episode is about one of the core values, but Let me tell you that in Balanced Working Mama, all the mamas that participate, the mamas that listen to this podcast, the mamas that join the Empower Wellness program, we know that balance in motherhood includes these 8 things. So I want you to decide today that you're going to redefine balance in motherhood for you to include these things. Number 1, bold and firm boundaries. Your boundaries need to be so bold and so firm that they scare you. Bold and firm boundaries. They need to be with everyone, including your children, also including yourself. And the thing that I've learned about boundaries, particularly in motherhood, is that they are only good if you actually set and reinforce them. So, boundaries, bold and firm boundaries. The second thing you need to redefine balance in motherhood is you always have to prioritize your own wellness. You know how when we go on a plane, for many of us it might have been over a year because pandemic, but when you are traveling and they say, "Hey, put your oxygen mask on first," they're actually serious about that, because what that means is that you are not able to take care of anyone else until you take care of yourself first. So, in order to have balance in motherhood, you always have to prioritize your own wellness. One thing I love about Balanced Working Mama is that we have an assessment tool called the Wellness Assessment. All the mamas in the Empower Wellness program take it. Sometimes I offer it solo for some mamas. If somebody's interested, reach out to me and I'll work with you to take that. But it breaks down wellness into 9 categories for working mamas. And when you take that assessment, you get to see where you're at. But then also, we talk about some of the areas that are not as strong and how you can make them stronger. So, always prioritize your wellness. Number 3, live fully in all of your identities. So, what I mean by this is that you are a mom, but that's not it. You are so many other things. You were so many other things before you became a mom. Yes, now that you're a mom, maybe some of your identities have shifted or changed, but guess what? You have a lot of hats. You show up in a lot of places, and I need you to always be engaging in those other parts. So, for instance, for me, I'm a mom, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a psychologist, I'm a wife. I want to be able to show up and engage in all those parts. They might not all be equal because I don't need them to all be equal, but I need to be able to engage in the other parts that matter to me. Number 4, assertiveness in seeking help and communicating your needs. In order to have balance in motherhood, you have to be assertive. I know assertiveness is hard and it's scary for us, but guess what? There is no balance without assertiveness. And so, if you are having trouble working on assertiveness, definitely consider joining one of our Empower Wellness programs and consider attending the retreat. Um, think about how you can really work on your assertiveness. One thing that I encourage for the mamas who have trouble really communicating their needs or being more assertive is start with some of the small things. Start with some of the easy no's. So, for instance, if someone comes up to you and say, "Hey, girl, you got $1 billion that I could borrow?" Of course, the answer is no. So say no. Don't even entertain it. Don't try to make up a little lie about it. No, no, I don't have that for you. If there are other more realistic easy no's that you can really start to put some boundaries around, practice there. Okay. So the more that you practice assertiveness, the easy ways, the easier it'll be for you to do it in the harder ways. So start now, practice all year, because we need assertiveness when we need help or when we need to communicate our needs in order to have balance. Number 5, never, ever, ever be afraid of change. This is hard and it's somewhat counterintuitive for me. And I included this as a core value because I am one that does not like change. I don't. Like, if I could have everything be the same, I would choose that all the time. But what I've learned as a mom is that things cannot always be the same because our children grow so fast. Our children change, we change, our environments change, their needs change, and then our needs change. Everything changes rapidly. And so, what I want us to do is really work on embracing those changes that come, because there is no, there is always change in motherhood, and so we cannot be afraid of that. Even if there are changes that are going to occur that you still don't really fully know what's going to happen or how you're going to get through them, embrace that change. Know that you will get through that on the other side. Talk to your supports about it. Don't be afraid and avoid those changes that are inevitable. Number 6, this is my favorite: community and motherhood. Community. in motherhood. Not just any old community, a community in motherhood. As mothers, we need community with other mothers to help normalize our experiences, to help validate all the crazy things that happen and the things that we go through, to just tell somebody, like, yo, I'm having a crazy day. My toddler is driving me crazy, or my teenager is out of her mind. And guess what? There's going to be a mama in that community to say, hey, girl, I've been there. You've got this. Or, hey, girl, try this. I don't know where I would be without my communities in motherhood. I have several. For instance, I always like to talk about when I was pregnant with my son. Um, Luck would have it that I knew at least 20 other moms who were pregnant. And so I reached out to all of them and I was like, hey, do you want to join me in a group chat? And most of them were like, yes, absolutely. I need that. And so 2 years later, we still have that group chat going. All of the babies are around the same age. We've entered the toddler phase and we're all like, yo, what is going on? I don't know where I would be without them, you all. Like, I have no idea. And so I'm so grateful for them. Also, I'm grateful for this balanced working mama community. You know, even though my role is to support you all in as many ways as possible, what I have also been given is community as well, as I help to build and facilitate community for you all too. All of my Empower Wellness mamas I keep in touch with. For some of them, we've become good friends. And I just love the connections and support that I get from the mamas who love Balanced Working Mama. It's another community that is building, it is growing, it is powerful, and I am so grateful to have this experience. So I want all of you all to have community in motherhood. Okay, number 7, effectively manage your guilt and anxiety. There is no balance until you actually start to effectively manage your guilt and your anxiety. Okay. So, what I mean by that is if you are noticing that you are experiencing guilt that keeps you from moving forward, that keeps you from making decisions that you need to, that keeps you from taking care of yourself, or if you're experiencing anxiety that similarly keep you from moving forward, keep you from taking care of yourself, keep you from functioning, we have to manage that. One great way to do that is therapy. Engage with a helping professional, a therapeutic licensed clinician that can help you do that. Another way is to have more community, more support. I'm grateful to be able to actually be a licensed psychologist, but then also engage in Balanced Working Mama because I can help in multiple ways. But what I want to tell you is that in order to have balance this year, if you have not got your anxiety and your guilt in check, you have to do that first. So that is important. Our last thing that you have to do in order to redefine balance for yourself is to start delegating and collaborating right now, right now. And so, what I mean by that is for some of you, I know that you are listening and you know I'm talking to you. You feel attacked because I know that y'all are doing too much. You are doing the things that maybe somebody else could do. You are doing the things that you wish other people could do, but maybe you haven't communicated it yet. You are trying to hold on to all of those jobs and all those roles when really you can let some of them go. I need y'all to start really considering how can I start giving some of these other things to somebody else? Some of these household chores, who else can do it? Some of this other stuff, how can I get some of this off of my plate? Or if it's at work, how can I offload some of these tasks to somebody else? Or if you have a business, how can I start to get some of this stuff off of my plate so I can do and show up in the ways that are important? Start to delegate and collaborate right now. So, some ways that I'm doing that this year. One, I'm working on hiring my first virtual assistant in my business. I am excited. I actually just put out an offer and she accepted. So, y'all are going to hear a lot more about her in the coming weeks because I realized that I cannot continue to show up and do everything in my business. I need some help. So, she's going to help me with that. And I am grateful to start delegating some tasks to her and for us to start collaborating in ways that can help me to grow a Balanced Working Mama more effectively. But also in my home, one task that I'm letting go of this year is a lot of the meal prep that I used to do for myself. Before I became a mom, I had hours. I had time, y'all. I had hours where I would extensively meal prep and meal plan for myself because health is really important for me. And what I've noticed is that I still have time, but my time is being prioritized in different ways. And so it was becoming a mental strain for me to really decide what I'm supposed to eat. And so what I've decided is I've subscribed to HelloFresh. I will get my first box this week and I cannot wait. So I will let y'all know how that goes. Other ways that we or I have been delegating and collaborating. I tried laundry service for the very first time a few months ago. And it was dope. I plan to do it again, especially as I get into this third trimester. But then also extensive communication with my partner about what I need from him and how he can show up in differently or how we can work together to show up differently to meet our needs. And so all of that is so important. So I just went through 8 different things that you need to do to redefine balance for yourself. Again, if you want to go back to season 1 of the podcast and listen to all of those, I highly recommend it because that season really lays the groundwork for what balance in motherhood truly is. So I'm gonna give y'all 2 more tips and then I'm about to be out. um, Second, in order to achieve balance this year in motherhood, you absolutely have to seek support. The one thing that I've learned as a mom and working with other mothers is that we cannot do this alone, y'all. And the thing about it is that society has socialized us to believe that we can and we need to do it alone. But also, what happens is that when we are struggling, when we need some extra help, we feel shame. We feel guilty. We feel like somebody's going to judge us. And I want to completely get rid of that. It is okay to need encouragement as you go through your motherhood journey. It's okay to need coaching as you go through your motherhood journey because what they don't tell you is that this is a job. And for every job, what have you needed? You've needed experience, you've needed training, you've needed you've needed coaching, you needed training. And so nobody gives us that as mothers. And what I'm saying is that if you need some coaching, if you need some education, if you need to hire a professional to help you through any phase of this process, do it. You cannot be expected to just be this perfect mother all by yourself. First of all, we don't subscribe to perfection, but what we do subscribe to is you doing the best that you can and investing in yourself in ways that will allow you to do that. And help is the way. So, I really, really encourage you all. If you have been noticing that you need some help, if you need some support, consider joining the Empower Wellness program when our next cycle opens. Consider attending the retreat. Consider working with a helping professional who can help you in this. Consider engaging with the community in motherhood where maybe education and tips are shared. Whatever it is you need to do, don't feel like you have to do this alone. You don't have to have all the answers. You will not have all the answers. But when you can engage with support and help, you will get the answers that you need. So, the very last thing that I want you all to do in order to have more balance this year is to absolutely attend this retreat. Like, y'all, this is a must. You absolutely need to come to the Balanced Working Mama retreat because what I can assure you is that you will be much closer to that balance and wellness that you've been wanting than you otherwise would have been. So, like I've told you before, the retreat is March 5th, 6th, and 7th of 2021. Our theme this year is achieving balance and wellness in your motherhood. Emphasis on yours because everybody's motherhood experience is going to be different. But guess what? You are the expert on your experience, and I want you to finally have the balance and wellness that you've been needing. We are going to have some dope speakers. We are going to have community. We are going to be engaging in very rich discussions. And what I can guarantee and assure you is that you're going to walk away feeling rejuvenated, feeling more empowered, feeling more encouraged to do all the things that you know you've been needing to do. Or maybe even you'll learn some new things that you need to do to really have the motherhood experience that you've been wanting. So, I cannot wait. Registration will close February 12th. For those of you who register early, you will get a discounted rate. So, all January, there's a discounted rate for registration. And then going into February is the late registration. Last thing I want to tell you about the retreat is that there is a giveaway going for the entire month of January. Only a few mamas know about this yet because I'm trying to give y'all some opportunities. But those who are on my email list found out about this last week. Now, those of you who are listening to the podcast are learning today that there is a giveaway to actually attend this retreat for free. If you would like to attend the retreat for free, what I need you to do is to start to share about the retreat on social media. When you share, whether it's sharing one of the posts that I've posted about it or one of the posts that Balanced Working Mama has posted, or maybe there's something that shows up in my Instagram story about it, you can screenshot that, share something on your Instagram page or in your Instagram stories. You have to tag me and Balanced Working Mama on Instagram in this post. And every time you do that, you will be entered for one giveaway. Thing about it is you could do this 100 times and you'll be entered 100 times. So share now. Again, one share equals one entry. If you do 10 shares, you get 10 entries. So that is going to go on for the month of January. At the end of January, I will announce the winner who gets to attend the retreat for free. Either way, I am so excited for this retreat, y'all. Like, you have no idea. Balanced Working Mama has been amazing. The Empower Wellness program has exceeded our expectations, and I know the retreat will do that as well. So, cannot wait to see you all there. If you have more questions about it, you all know where to find me. You can hit me up on Instagram. You can email me. Let me know your questions because I want y'all to attend. Hey, Mama, I want to quickly tell you about the Empower Wellness program. This is a dynamic 6-week group for working mothers who are tired of feeling overwhelmed, fatigued, burdened by mom guilt, but then also just not having enough time for themselves. This program takes all of that and transforms it into more wellness, more time for yourself, better priorities, community with other mothers, but then overall balance in your work, motherhood, and wellness. To learn more about the Empower Wellness program, head over to balanceworkingmama.com. There you can find when the next program begins, what to expect, but then also how to sign up. Hope to see you in the next group. All right, mamas, we are about to wrap up this week's episode. Again, thank you all for coming and listening. Shout out to season 3. I know the season's going to be great. There's some really cool things in store for us. So, you all know that we have ended each podcast episode differently each season. For the first season, we ended with Balanced Working Mama encouragement, where I really just took a moment to encourage you in a different way each week. For the second season, we ended every episode with Balanced Working Mama homework, where I would give you a little homework assignment that you had to really work on throughout your week. Well, this season 3, we are going to end every episode with a reflection question. And so, the thing that I want you to reflect on today, and this is a question I'm going to ask you, and I want you to really sit with it and answer it for yourself. And if you would like to tell me the answer, feel free. You all know where to find me. What keeps you hesitant to do what you know you need to do to find the balance and wellness you've been needing? What is keeping you hesitant? I really want you to think about that question because for some moms, when I work with them, they tell me, I know that I've needed to do this for years, or I know that this is the thing that's keeping me stuck, or I know that these are the things that have been in my way, and it's been this way for a long time. So I really want you to ask yourself, what is keeping you stuck? What is keeping you from actually achieving the balance and wellness that you've been needing? And when you figure that out, I want you to write it down. And today, I want you to decide what is going to be the first step to get you out of this stuck place. What will be the first step? And for some of you, the first step might be, hey, I need to attend this retreat. Or others of you, the first step might be, hey, I need to talk to my partner about how we need to switch up these routines. Or for some of you, the first step might be, hey, I need to decide to wake up 30 minutes earlier. Whatever it is for you, decide what is keeping you stuck, what's keeping you hesitant to get the balance and wellness you know you've been needing, and make a decision today to take that first step to move forward. So, mamas, I hope that was helpful. I cannot wait to engage and talk with you all throughout season 3. We have some really special guests that will show up for this season. And I just know that you'll enjoy it. So thank you again, mamas, and we will talk soon. Hey, mama. Thank you for listening to the Balanced Working Mama podcast. If you love this podcast, please be sure to rate it and share it with another mama that you know. And don't forget to follow me and Balanced Working Mama on Instagram. I'll talk to you soon.